Hi everybody. I, after doing that two-part video series that Noel did in Coffee Time, I was inspired to give some more practical advice. If you are inspired by what Noel talked about and such an amazing topic, if you haven't seen it, go to part 1 here and take a look at her talk about money and its place in the world, and how we function with money now. But I wanted to give the more practical side of it, because I can understand how you could see that and go, "That's awesome! I'm ready. Where do I start?" And the reality is we didn't go from a mortgage and 2 high-paying corporate jobs like we had to straight into a bus. I mean, that's not how it happened. It evolved over multiple years, over 3 years. This took time. So I just want to encourage you that the answer isn't for you maybe to just drop everything. And you have little kids, you can't, there's no other situation, you're with your kids, I can't just go live in a van, I have kids. Well, that's not necessarily true. I just watched a video with a single mom who has 2 small children living in a trailer, a pull-behind trailer, and they live full-time, and she homeschools her kids. They're young, and it looks like, and she's so happy, and they have a wonderful life. So you could do that, but maybe you know that's too much. So here's some stuff to go on. So here's a little of a very condensed version of what we did in the last 3 years. Noel and I both had very good paying corporate jobs. I was IT, she was an HR director or assistant director, something like that, and I was a head of an IT department. Hated what I did. Do not like computers as far as working on them, but I was really good at it, always have been. So I couldn't just not do it because I was good and they paid me good. How can you leave that, right? Well, that's the question you may have. I may not like my job, but it's not hard and I'm good at it and I know how to do it. How can I just leave that? And that's a valid question. And the answer is you just do. So here's kind of what we did. We had a mortgage, and we just got finished remodeling the kitchen. Or I did it, since I'm a carpenter too. Remodeled the kitchen and other stuff to revamp the house to try and make it more a place we want it to be, since we're giving so much of our lifeblood, our money, towards paying for this place. We wanted to be there as much as possible, since it was so expensive to pay for that mortgage. It was taking up so much of our money. And so that's when we decided, and Noel, we've talked about it multiple times, we stopped paying. I lost my job. Noel had already given up her job to pursue writing and discovering herself, which led us on this journey to get us where we're at today. She did that full-time, discovering herself, and I worked full-time. And once I lost my job, and I couldn't see getting another crappy job at a corporation that treated me like a number. They didn't give a crap about me, because we were in the middle of, just after the recession, with all the mortgage and all the fraud that the mortgage companies did on American class workers. We were just on the end of that, and so there were so many IT people coming out of college who needed a job, who may not have been able to do the job as good as me, but they could still do it, and they'd learn it, and they were smart. They could pick it up. Why would they pay me $70,000 when they could pay someone else $40,000? And they didn't value what I had, and it was just, I'm a number. So I was so tired of being that number that I agreed, yes, let's get the heck out of this system. So we moved in the bus. And we did that for a year, and we loved it. It was great. And that was a paring down, getting rid of stuff, letting go of the mortgage. We tried to work on the short sale. I spent a lot of money faxing all this documentation to the bank I was working with. One of the big four that collapsed. So it wasn't one of the big four. That's all I'll say. And I would do it. You're approved for a short sale. Great. We'll get back to you in a week. Nothing for 2 weeks. Call them up. You're not approved. You need to reapply. Reapplied. You're approved for a short sale. We'll call you back in a week. I call back in 2 weeks with no reply from them. You're not approved. You need to reapply. This went on for 6 months, over and over again. I spent so much. I spent like $60 faxing because you couldn't email. They had to be paper. Like $60 faxing them over. And then finally, I just quit. I was like, this is ridiculous. They're not going to let me do a short sale. They're just going to let this go into complete foreclosure. They're going to write it off on taxes. And then they're just going to resell it or whatever they're going to do. Whatever. So they won't work with me. I can't work in this system. I just couldn't. So we were done with the mortgage. We stopped taking their phone calls and just, it's yours. It's not like I stole it. It's right there. There's the house. They can resell it to whoever they want, whatever they want. We tried to work with them. And then we moved from the bus into a relative's basement for a little while. At this time I was working part-time at Lowe's. Loved it. I worked between 20 and 30 hours a week. I had most of my time free. I was doing something I liked. I was working, helping people figure out projects, how to make stuff, how to, work on their decks, and I was working in the lumber department, and I really enjoyed that. It was really fun. Didn't make a lot of money, but we were making enough. We could go to the movies every once in a while, and it was really a great time to figure out, okay, we don't need as much. Gosh, now that I'm not working in this corporate job, I don't feel like I need to go spend a bunch of money now on the weekends to make up for it, to make a value of that job. I can just enjoy my time with my wife in this beautiful place in Colorado, and so that understanding came through that when you simplify your life, even your job and your home and your finances, you don't need to spend as much money on junk to get over it, to prepare for Monday morning. And so that's a big thing that I never even thought of. Like, we were spending money on stuff simply because we needed to, well, if we're working this crappy job, at least we get to go out to dinner, at least we get to go to the movies, at least we get to go on this vacation. That makes it worthwhile. And when you take that part out of it, that crappy job, that crappy career that just stifles you, then you don't need to take that big vacation. You don't need to go out to eat all the time. And there again, money, you don't need to spend that money. Okay, so then we were able to find a nice deal. We were able to sublet somebody's apartment for a couple of months after the basement. We lived in the basement for like a month. Then we subletted someone's apartment for a while at a great price. It was a great apartment. We really enjoyed it. When that sublet was up, it was too expensive. So then we found another inexpensive apartment that we moved into, and we were there for, I don't know how many months, 6 or 7 months. And all this was done. The subletting, the apartment was done after we'd already cut up our credit cards. We cut up our credit cards and stopped paying them and stopped taking phone calls and just decided the only way to do this is just get out. We can't keep paying little bit on the credit cards, which means we have to have better jobs. We got to just get out, and we have to make that decision. We are never using credit again. If we're gonna stop paying on these credit cards and cut them up, we're not gonna ever touch a credit card again. We're not going back in the system. That is what we're gonna do to make this valid. And that's what we decided. No more credit cards, no more. If we can't pay for it, we're not doing it. A side note, there was a time when credit cards weren't used nearly as often, and there was this thing called, oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of it. Oh my gosh, sorry. Layaway. You wanted to buy that bike for your kid, or you wanted to buy that big thing, you paid them an installment each month, and then when you had it fully paid, they would hand it to you. They didn't hand it to you ahead of time. You had the money. When you were given that stereo system or that thing that was so expensive, you owned it. It was yours. It was no longer this contract or leash around your neck. And so we've really gotten away from that in our society, and we just buy it and then pay for it later, and knowing that we can pay for it when we need to, and blah blah blah. And so in our society we've really gotten sloppy, and I'm no different. We were the same way. When we got out of the system and we stopped paying our mortgage, we put all that money that wasn't going in the bus to paying off our credit cards. And we chopped our credit cards down to a really low number when we weren't paying our mortgage anymore. We just knocked them down to very low, not empty, still owe, still definitely owed money, but we knocked them way down. And then we're living in the bus, and just the freedom of living there, and knowing that we didn't have to go to that corporate job anymore, and that, wow, it was so exciting. And it's like, gosh, we have to pay these credit cards. I got to go get a full-time job again to pay. And it's just like, it's like, why don't we just get out of the system? Just get out. We just didn't feel like we were stuff happened with the credit cards that made us realize they weren't treating us like people, these credit card companies. They were treating us like a number, but they expected us to treat them like people. And it just realized this is a game. This isn't real. If they're not going to treat us with respect, when we're trying to work with them to pay off some of it but not the full amount, then we're just going to get out. We're done with this relationship. We're divorcing the credit system, and we just had to cut our losses and be done with it, and decide our credit score didn't matter anymore. So on the side note of that, 1 year later, maybe a little over a year, we were at the bank, because of course we still have a bank, and we were at not the teller, but we were at a financial, we were at one of the bankers, and they were helping us with something, and they said, you've been pre-approved for a credit card for $10,000. And we're like, oh no, that must be a mistake. We don't really have good credit. We just like short, like we don't have. Oh no, you're definitely approved for a nice low interest rate. And we were just dumbfounded, shocked. At that point I realized even more, it's not real. We didn't pay our credit cards. We stopped taking their phone calls. We didn't work with them once we stopped. We tried to work with them once we stopped trying to work with them, and nothing else. And we just stopped paying. They wanted to give us another credit card. It's not about what we owe them. It's about us being in the system and feeding this machine. That was the deal. It's like after 9/11 happened. Horrible, of course, but something that disturbed me even back then, when I was in the system, corporate, mortgage, brand new car payments, timeshare, so I could go on vacations. George Bush, what did he say after 9/11? His big statement was, the most important thing you can do for this country is go spend money. He didn't say, go to your neighbor and support them in this hard time. He didn't say, donate to the charities to help the families of the victims. He didn't say, trust in God, or trust in your inner spirit that we are a strong nation and we're going to get through this. He said, go spend money. This government treats us like a number, just like the corporations do. If we don't do credit, the country in its current state will not support itself. It's held up by the fact that we all have mortgages, we all have credit debt, and we pay on the credit on that, and we never pay it off in full, and that interest is what is holding up this faulty system of everything is based on money. Money is the only thing that matters. at the highest level. Maybe not down in the city level, in the county level, but at the highest level where all the huge decisions are made. That is what we are. We are a number, a cog in the wheel that is only here to keep the cog, the machine running, and keep the highest, the 1% of the people who own 99% of all the money in this country. The people working, the main majority of people are holding up the 1% so they can get richer and richer, and they want us to stay right where we're at. The money that they used to bail out those banks with, they could have bought everyone in the country a house. Zero mortgage, here you go, here's a house, free. But they didn't do that. They bailed out these gigantic corporations that were defrauding our government and us as people. I lost my home, I lost my job because of it. Defrauding us, and they gave them low interest loans, and within a year, nobody went to jail. Within a year, or maybe a little over a year, those same companies that were going bankrupt and the government had to bail them out, they had the highest bonuses and profits they've ever had. 1 year later, no consequence for what they did. If a person, if you defrauded $10 million, which they had billions and trillions, if you stole $10 million from a bunch of people, you wouldn't then get a small loan from the government and then have highest profits you've ever seen 1 year later. You'd be in jail. That one, The Big Short, the movie Noel spoke about, it's about that. It's all about how it happened. And we were just shocked to watch it. This is how it really happened. It was really eye-opening, and it's like, wow, this really is a crazy system we're in. So, this is what got us to the van. It didn't happen in one day. It happened in over 3 years. From the apartment, the cheap apartment, we then moved in the van from there, and it took time though. It took paring down, getting rid of stuff, selling everything, and then buying more stuff, and then selling, and then paring down our clothes. And the more we pared down, the freer we felt. It's amazing. The less stuff you have, the more free you feel, and the happier you actually are, and the less money you need because you're already happy. I lived in the system too. I lost 70 pounds. My health improved. I'm happier. I'm more alive because I got out of that money system. And I'm not saying go move in a van tomorrow. Here's some things that you can do right now if you want to start getting that way. Let's say you want to have a homestead. Let's say you want to live on a homestead off the grid, or you want to live, take care of yourself, have a farm, live in a van, live in an apartment somewhere in the city that you love, but you don't want to be trapped to this job. Whatever it happens to be for you, you can just cut your credit cards up today. And maybe you want to keep paying on them, but just cut them up. Stop agreeing with the credit system altogether. Go take that expensive car you may have, that mortgage, that loan you have on your car, drive your car back to the dealership, hand them the keys, and walk away. You haven't stolen anything from them. They have their car back. Do the same thing with your house. They have your house. Let them take and do what they want with that house. They can resell it. Your very expensive apartment, or the really nice 2-3 bedroom apartment, that costs you nearly as much as a mortgage might. Turn your keys in and walk away. So what if your lease is up? You still have 4 months, 5 months on your lease. Do you think that apartment company is not going to re-rent your apartment within the month? Yes, they are. They're going to re-rent it. So they're going to be, so you could move out and keep paying and pay off that debt, and then they're going to be getting your money for the rent, and they're going to be getting the money from the new tenant for that rent. Doesn't make any sense. You didn't steal anything from them. They're going to re-rent it. So just get out of it. Let them do what they want. Let them take your credit score. We with all the stuff we did, we were able to fill out an application and pay and get an apartment with our credit score as low as you could possibly get. They wanted to give us another credit card with the credit score as low as we could get. This whole thing of your credit score is going to ruin your life if it's bad is just not true. It's a lie that we believe because we don't know any better. I'm telling you, at least for us, it's a lie for them to offer us credit cards and for us to get an apartment. Okay, so now that you've cut up your credit cards, you have a cheaper living situation. Let's say that, and here's some options. I've seen on YouTube somebody buys a cheap RV that doesn't even run, like a big one, but it doesn't even run, and they have it towed to an RV lot, and they park it on an RV lot, and they live in it, and they pay, like, you know, very cheap rent to live there, and they plug it in, and they have water and all this stuff and sewage, and they live at an RV park in that RV that may not even run, but they got it for dirt cheap. For 1 month's rent of their house or apartment, they got an RV. You could live with family a little bit. You could sublet. You could rent someone's room out. There's so many things you could do other than just living on the road and being houseless, I should say. So now that you've figured out your housing, you bought a car that you can actually afford, and you bought it with cash or, you know, something like that, and you've cut up your credit cards. Now look at your job. Let's say you have a family with multiple kids, and you've done these things, and you've got a smaller car. And after you've done those, do you really both of you need to work? Do both the husband and wife need to work? Well, if the answer is probably no now someone can stay home with the kids and not pay for for daycare, or you don't both need to work because you're not paying for that mortgage, and you can live in that smaller apartment, and now look at the money that you can put towards your dream, towards your life, towards your purpose in the world, other than just filling the pockets of people who are already exorbitantly rich. You know, think about that. If you didn't have a car payment, a house payment, if you didn't have credit card bills, how much extra money would you have every month, and what could you do with that to really make your life rich, to really enrich your life? Think about that. That's huge. And then you don't have that crappy job, corporate job you hate. You might have a job like me. I worked at Lowe's. I worked at a sporting goods store. I worked as a construction worker. I worked as a security guard. I worked at a lot of different jobs, making $10 to $12 an hour, which was more than enough to pay for an apartment, going out to eat regularly, and going to the movies. More than enough. And we were much happier than before. Not as happy as we are now by any means, but we were much happier, for sure, with just one person making $12 an hour. We loved it. Let's see. And then the other thing you can do right now is look around, and what do you have extra? What don't you need anymore? What isn't important in your life? Do you really need the next iPhone? Or is your iPhone 5 okay? Do you really need the latest and greatest computer? There's so many things. Oh my gosh, it's so easy to get sucked up in all the things out there that you could buy that are so cool, that are different. Do you really need those wireless headphones? Is that wire really hurting you? I look at the wireless headphones when I go to Walmart or to Target and go, that is freaking cool. I like that. Man, that's cool. But then I go, but I love my life better. I love that I have 2 cotton t-shirts. I have 2 shirts that are breathable for when it's really hot. I have one pair of shorts, 1 swimsuit, 2 pair of pants. I have the long sleeve shirt, I have a hooded sweatshirt, and I have a vest. That's all the clothes I own, and I cut in some socks and stuff. That makes me happy that I have those things. I have a pair of flip-flops, and I have a pair of shoes. 1 pair of shoes. This makes me like, gosh, it's just freeing to not have all that stuff in the closet. Noelle, she had a huge closet full of clothes because she was corporate. I had work stuff. I had, oh my gosh, so many hobbies. To get rid of that. And everything I got rid of, once I got in the mode of getting rid of it, and Noelle did too, it was like, look, what else can we get rid of? What else can we sell? What else can we put on eBay? We don't need anymore. Oh, I have 3 old iPods or phones or whatever. Let's get those on eBay and get us our money on those. Okay, we have this money. Let's put that towards the thing we really want in our life that's really going to make us happy. So, okay, 2 more things, and then I'll be done. So here's the one that Noelle wanted me to be sure to mention. So the one credit card debt or the one debt you cannot say I'm not paying it is college loans. That's the one, no matter what, you got to pay them. That is, there's no way you can't go into bankruptcy and not pay them. There's no way. So if you're in the situation and you don't have a lot of money, and those college loans are holding you back, because I mean they're expensive. There's a program called Income-Based Repayment Plan. Income-Based Repayment Plan. It is a government program that will pay if you are not making enough money, a certain amount of money after college, you do not have to pay your college loans. The government will pay for them. It's impossible to find. If you type in income-based repayment plan, there's lots of information on it. But it only works on government loans, not on private loans. But on government loans, you may have to call them up and say, where do I find it? Because they bury it on their website. But it's there. And Noelle hasn't paid on her college loans in like 4 years once we found this. And every year it's all based on your income. And even when I was working in a corporate job, I was making $20 an hour. So it's not like I was making gobs of money. But at $20 an hour, we qualified for this income-based repayment plan. So it's not if you make a crap load of money. You could make at my IT job $20 an hour, and we qualified, and we didn't have to pay them anymore. And it's a government plan. The money's there. The money's sitting there in whatever bank, and for you to use, but you have to actually go use it. So do it. It's not stealing. This is a government to help you if you didn't find that job that you were promised when you got that degree, that you thought you would get after that degree, and you're not making as much as you thought. Try it. Sometimes they won't pay. They pay all of ours, but they can do portions of it. They'll pay 50% of it for you. You only have to pay half. And then the last part of that is if you can't pay for 10 years straight, 10 years in a row, you cannot pay, or you qualify for the 0 like we do. After that 10 years, your debt is completely wiped out. Free and clear, no more debt. That's pretty cool, and that's something that's an option now today. Okay, so I can hear some of you out there. I can hear you. You're saying, but this isn't fair. The fact that you get to go walk on the beach, and the fact that some people are just going to say, screw it, I'm not going to have my mortgage anymore. I have to because I feel like I have to. And it's not fair to me that you do that. And I would say to you, this is an analogy I would give to somebody who would say that. I understand what you're saying. I was in the system too. So here's my analogy. So 1%, the top 1% of people in this country own 99% of all the money in this country. Okay? So the rest of us are supporting that 1%. This platform that all the middle class and lower class are holding up. Like this, we're holding it up, right? We're all holding it up so that 1% can have their 3rd yacht and their 10th home and their houses in the villa in Italy, whatever, this top 1%. They own all the money. So here we are, holding up this platform of money that's theirs, and we don't get to touch it because we're holding it up. And here I am, I'm next to you, the guy who says this isn't fair. It's not fair. Not what I'm doing, it's not fair that what they're doing. But there is no equality of any kind. So I'm standing next to you holding this up, trudging along, walking down the road, whatever, however you want to analogize it. And I look down and the chain on my ankle's gone. And I look around and no one has the chain on their ankle anymore. It's not there. Maybe it was never there. Who knows? The chain's gone. I look around and there are no guards. The guards are gone. The guards that used to be out there watching are gone. Looking around, I walk for a week. I walk for a month. I'm looking. No guards. No chain. Why am I still holding this platform up? Why am I still holding up this 1% of the people that have 99% of the money? So I say to you, I say, hey, dude, buddy, look at this. The guards are gone. No one's watching. Why are we holding this up? Let's go. And he says, he or she may say, well, wait a minute. How do you know they're not hiding around that corner behind the tree? How do you know they're not waiting for us to run so they can grab us and bring us back and punish us? And I'm like, but it's been a month. It's been a week. It's been an hour. I'm getting the hell out of here. And that person may say, it's not fair. Why do you get to leave and run away and not have to hold this burden up for this 1% when I have to stay and do it? And I say to this person, I go, what are you talking about? You don't have to do this. It's your choice to do it. No, I have to. My credit score. What about my credit score? How are my kids going to get into college? How am I going to... And I say to you, I'm sorry, but how healthy you don't look very healthy. You look really stressed out. You could die of a heart attack tomorrow the way you're living. Then what? What was your life for? So that the 1% of people can buy another house in Spain? And I say, I'm out of here. And he says, but you can't go unless I can go. And I'm like, I'm going. I'm not going to stay here and hold this platform up. I invite you to come with me. But I'm not staying here any longer. And you get out from under it and you walk away. What would happen if 10% of Americans, there's 350 million people in this country. What happened if 35 million people walked away? Just walked away and stopped holding up that 1%. The system would crash and it would have to change to support the people who are underneath. That's what would happen. I don't think it's going to happen right now. I think if 1% of the people walk away, 2% of the people walk away, then good for you. Do what you got to do to be happy and to not die of a heart attack and to not be overweight and to not drink and do drugs and be addicted to pornography and all these things to distract us from our shitty lives that we lead. Get out from under that platform and do it for yourself and stand out here and go, look at me, my arms are open, my back isn't hunched anymore. Come on, let's go. You won't believe how happy it is out here. As Noel's analogy, come float in the river with me. Alright? So, this is my talk. I don't even know how long this was, but here's some practical stuff you can do. And I thank you all for watching, and if you don't get it, that's fine. If you think that we're freeloaders, that's fine. Call us freeloaders if you want, but we're outside of that platform holding up that 1% of people. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm happy, I'm full of love, I'm full of life, and I'm glad to share this with you, and I hope this helps you even a little bit. Just get rid of half the clothes in your closet, and you'd be surprised what it feels like. Alright, everyone have a great day, and blessings on your life. Namaste.